Shalomi homies. How are you guys doing? How is life? You guys survived the worldly holidays that they're having, their pagan festivities, their Saturnalia, the combination of pagan and new man-made traditions and rules and laws and all their ways, all this garbage that is going on all around us at all times. It is so disturbing. It is so disgusting. And brothers and sisters, we should not be partaking in any of this. And guys, you're listening to the guy that doesn't care about views, doesn't care about subscribers. And I don't say that in a bad way, because my main channel that we have a tremendous amount of subs on, like 48,000, I think, somewhere in there. I haven't looked lately. But it's people that came for a set of music, my Hebrew praise and worship music that I put together a long, long time ago. There's two videos that became very, very popular, and people will come all the time. It's just an influx all the time of this. And so the majority of the people that are on this channel are simply there to bookmark what they fell in love with and where they came to something where it was a Kodesh place, a holy place. And Yah sent them here, and we are dealing with a majority of people that aren't Torah keepers. And so as big as like my main channel looks, there's only a few of us when it comes down to actually how many people are here. And so there's not 48,000 law-abiding, Torah-keeping, Messiah, Yahushua, loving people out there championing on the kingdom to come. It's just us. And so you guys see the comments, you guys see the views, and we're just not a very big channel. And when it comes to, like, is there a neighborhood here? There's not. And, I throw out videos like I threw out yesterday that said if you were celebrating Christmas, you're on Team Satan. And I know the second I pop these out, I can see people drop. Yesterday, I think one of my channels, Yahoo and the Torah 2, had like 1607 or something. And I put that out and it dropped down to like 1601. And every time that I put these things out, it shocks people. And people get very angry because they want to celebrate a pagan holiday. They want to be a part of a pagan society. Everybody's doing it. If you don't do it, you're the outcast, which is what we are supposed to be, guys. We are the outcasts to become the in-laws of the new kingdom to come. And even though some of us may feel lonely, a lot of us have just started not keeping Saturnalia and keeping the demonic satanic worldly things that they're going. It's a lonely road, right? And it's been a very lonely road for all of us. That as our family, they kick you to the curb. If you're not celebrating all these pagan holidays with them, they see you as an outlaw. And again, that's good. We want to be outlaws to the world, and because that makes us an in-law to our Messiah. It makes us a valuable bride. It makes us somebody who is seeking the ways of our Creator. And it's I want to touch on a couple things here. And yesterday, I had a brother that actually it was today. He said he was very offended at the when I used AI or yesterday when I was doing that lesson. And a lot of folks that they don't know my background. I will give you my background. I am what you would call a high-end IT guy. The guy that was running all of your internets and taking care of all of the emails and servers and all of this stuff for most of my adult life until I got an offer from Google, at which point it was literally the pinnacle of my career. And I went and I started working data centers. I started working in between the software side of the house with Google, the coders with the data center stuff. And I had millions of machines under me. I was a leader of the guys that would be part of the repairs team. when they hired me at Google, they hired me at one of the highest levels in the data center world, which is a data center tech 3. So from that point, they put me in a position that I would either go into a higher level of geekdom with computers, or I would jump into what they call the management, the operations team's management. And I chose the operations team management because I had lived the geeky side of my life from very young. I was always geeked. I was always fascinated. I've been in computers before the internet was. I love computers. This was my world. And so inside the world of Google, and my point of what I want to discuss on this is that AI is not the enemy, but it's the tool of the enemy. And people don't even understand what AI is. And here, guys, everybody to a point has been working on what you would call AI all our lives. From the very first computer that you had a software that would do something and it would make the human faster or give us different abilities than what we had, you're using an artificial intelligence. Call it what you want to call it. What we have today is the danger isn't in AI. It is in what the powers that be plan to do with humanity, to where humanity is replaced. And it's not that software is smart. It's not that something is Borg style and can make these decisions. Everything is software coded to the ability that the coders hit the button and they have it run the same routines that things have been running all this time. All we're dealing with AI is a very, very, very large database of the world's info. We are at the time when all of the info of the world is compiled into one ginormous machine, and it uses things called LLMs, which are large language modules. And that the software then pulls from infinite data, which can bring back infinite results. Every time you use the search engine from the beginning of time, you were using what the same concept of AI was. It's using a search query that will pull in information. And this is what AI does. And people are building software tools on top of it because the information is so great, because the world has all of the information. I mean, we got to be way beyond the days of the Tower of Babel. We got to be like at the end of time. Knowledge has just increased, and it's never ending right now. And what people are doing is they're developing things that will eventually replace the humans, and the software is simply just code that will be running it. It's not a good look for the world. But it's not the concept of AI is. AI is a simple buzzword. It's just a bunch of coders running stuff into a database, producing results, and it may look really smart and super intelligent, but it's the same stuff we've used for decades, since computers came out. It's just differently marketed, and it is doing different things. So, guys, I hope that explains that. So, I wasn't trying to become one with the system on this stuff, but even in my days of Google, I developed what you would call AI inside of the tech world. Prior to my existence at Google, the only way that Google could repair one of their millions of machines was to have a single person walk over to that machine and plug a console cable in, pull the machine out, and try to figure out why it's breaking. And usually it was RAM or processors or something of the sort, because Google uses very, very cheap parts in their data centers because they have people that just swap their parts out. So my idea was that we shouldn't have that we should have a simple reset where the computer would reboot and we would boot it into a different operating system, at which point it would load up into the very first module of the RAM, and then it would start running the tools and diagnostics and everything that it needs so that it can bring back the results. So then we just sent out low-level guys that didn't know anything and just say replace RAM slot 7 or hard drive 8 or 9 or something is dead. Something of that sort. That did not exist. And I will tell you guys, before you guys all start throwing sticks and things at me, when I interviewed at Google, their motto was "Don't be evil." As I got into corporate America, and I had always been self-employed because I was always out building ISPs everywhere, internet service providers. I was a wireless guy. prior to life at Google, being evil is one big thing, right? But as I progressed into the years at Google, there were things and operations and things that I found that were, you guys right now, we're in the age of all our privacy is gone. We all know this. If you're on the internet, you have zero privacy. If you have a cell phone, you do not have any privacy. It doesn't matter. They know where you're at. They know everything that you're doing. So as I was cruising through Google, I ran, and they sent me to the leadership training side of Google. I ran into another guy from another place, and he was very conflicted about his operations. And his operations at the time were about 20,000 computers in a cluster that they called Operation Kansas. And Operation Project Kansas was a data mining operation at the very beginning, where they absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, collected data off of everything, all their analytics, all their email, everything. Anytime anyone ever sent you something, it would go into your folder, it would be stripped off, and they know you better than you will ever know yourself, and which is why they wanted this for what they said, their ads. They wanted to make sure they could really target people with their ads. But when I found that operation, I talked to that dude. I was crushed. This company that, is just a monster at the top of the reign, and I was making, guys, I was making a lot of money back in the days. I honestly, it was, I should have stayed there, but no, I didn't. And when I found out they were actually data mining all the people of the world, then I put in I quit, and I started an ISP. And so from there, there's always a little stories, but I wanted to put all of that out there so that you guys have that. And, much love to you all. Now let's actually get into what I'm talking about, what we're supposed to be doing, which is, first of all, Yah Scriptures. Guys, this is turning into a tremendous, amazing thing. This is a project that has absolutely brought blessings into my life. It is literally created a job where I am emailing prisoners every single day. If I have an email that comes in, I go and bang it out, and I want to, I spend a lot of time in these emails. These guys will basically send me their heart, mind, and soul, and it's things that it takes a lot of attention. It takes something that you can't just do something like this willy-nilly when we're talking with the prisoners, because their lives are literally and could be on the line by the responses and the things that we're able to provide. And so there's a mental side to it. There's a physical side to it. There's definitely a spiritual side to it. And, I have a lot of brothers that I talk to, and I don't have a lot of, it's not evident of any great change in their life, and I'm always working them. They all have the big blue book. They have this book you have, and it's only because of the people that have purchased these scriptures that we're able to get these guys these scriptures. And so it is something that is a work, and it is something that takes a lot of work, and we wouldn't be able to do that without you guys. So guys, pick these Yah Scriptures up while they're still in stock. Paperbacks are being worked on right now. It's looking really, really good on the paperback side of it. They're going to be literally a portable side, and something that, if you wanted to get a case of these things and hand them out, it's not like getting a case of the big blue book. The big blue book is for our studies. It's for our houses. It's for defense of our spiritual life, and it could definitely stop a bullet. So you never know. Maybe one day this thing will stop a bullet for somebody, and then everything I'm saying about it being bulletproof will be true. On the back of it has the name of our Messiah, our beautiful, beautiful Messiah, who came and was our Passover sacrifice. He was more than likely born September 11th, around the time of or exactly on the time of the Feast of Trumpets, when people are out there blowing their shofars. Messiah was probably being born. And so, beautiful stuff, beautiful verse. I treasured up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And, this is some of the stuff that we're always telling everybody is, the don't trust me, don't trust anybody, trust your own eyes. Read these scriptures. Every one of the scriptures, like you're seeing right here, this is 100% free of charge. This is the Google app. If anybody has a Google tablet, Google phone, there's been a tremendous amount of downloads on this. I've been so happy that people are downloading it. It's like competing actually with the book. And so there's a lot of Google people out there. So guys, grab this. This literally took like a year and a half, thousands and thousands of dollars. I have no idea the amount of time going back and forth with these coders and stuff who were like literally ready to hang themselves by the time this project was done. It got deep because of all the Paleo Hebrew that's in here, and being able to copy it and paste it and have a functioning thing. And I use this all the time, and it is a beautiful app, absolutely free of charge for you guys out there. Also, the eSword modules are out there as well, but the eSword modules don't have all of Yah Scriptures because I guess eSword is a Christian-based group or something, and so they only allow a certain amount of books. Well, so go figure. But anyway, you can also get the PDFs as well, and I think somebody was talking about an EPUB, and I think we have it out there, but we'll put it somewhere out there as well. All right. We are in the book of the Nazarene. This is the book of Khalidi. It is the last book in Yah Scriptures. It is a beautiful book. And this chapter has kind of been not really reruns, but like reruns with different approaches in it, because Messiah is telling us a lot of the same things that we've heard before, which is, how what's the kingdom look like? What do we need to do to get there? And then today we have an interesting question, and from somebody who's outside. These guys are out there in a crowd, and they're several in the crowd, they're talking to Messiah, and Messiah is a what you would call a celebrity. He would be one of these the one and only good celebrity I think that we could ever say is really a righteous celebrity. Everybody else the world throngs to and has little stars on the ground, and they worship them, and they forget our real Messiah. And our real Messiah taught us that the laws of his father are still intact. And people are like, well, he didn't keep the Torah. He absolutely kept the Torah. He also kept the appointed times. He actually kept the feasts. He kept everything. And he says as well, if you love me, keep my commands. And the Christians will twist that doctrine. They're like, well, he only had 2 commands: to love our Creator with all our heart, mind, and soul, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I do all that, and so I'm done. I'm waiting on the magical rapture bus to come and take me away. And Messiah, that they twist that scripture because he didn't actually say there's only 2 commandments. He said they asked him, the question was, what is the greatest of the commands? And if you look at the first one, which is to love our Creator with all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our soul, all of our being, and he is a foundational step to our lives and to a foundational block to everything that we can say, see, and say. But you reject it. You say, oh no, those are dead. What parent in the world is going to not want to pick up the stick and beat the living snot out of their kids? They're like, oh, these kids have gone rogue. It's time for the hickory stick. Let's come on, bend over, boys. It's on. Okay, now let's begin. Let's see what Messiah has for us. Several in the crowd said, tell us again about those who enter the reign of the Shamayim. Okay, all of us should have our ears perked up, right? This is like what we want to do, right? We want to hang out with Messiah. We want to hang out with Moshe. We want to talk to Jacob and see how he didn't, how he survived the 12 kids, the ruthless kids. How did that go down? That poor dude. People need to give him a ton of props. If there's a dude that had some crazy kids and had dealt with some insane stuff, that's our homeboy Yaakov. So much love, Yaakov, wherever you are. Pass it on. Here we are. Okay, so how do we enter, guys? Yahushua replied with these parables. Admittance may be likened to a wedding feast prepared by a sovereign for his son. He dispatched servants, inviting many guests. But though each was told, the feast is preparing even now, the geese and beasts are being roasted, the bread is in the ovens, and there is wine on the tables. Yet those invited ignored the messengers, saying they were too busy with their own affairs, while they abused or even ill-treated them. When this came to the ears of the sovereign, he sent soldiers to take those who had ill-treated his messengers and confine them in dismal dungeons. All right, let's pick this apart, right? So how do we enter the reign of the Shamayim, and what in the world, how did this actually work? Okay, so we know there's a dude of major power that invites a whole bunch of people. And everyone's invited, right? You're invited by simply keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. There's a giant letter at your door, bam! And it's like a wedding letter. And it says, if you will obey my ways and keep the books of knowledge, and you will keep them, the Torah, I will be your Elohim. I will walk with you. I will talk with you. I will guide you. I will send my messengers to protect you. But if you don't, well, there's a dismal dungeon waiting for you. So we've all been given the invitation. And we know the world is way too busy with their affairs, right? Who in the world wants to keep a Shabbat? Who wants to take a full-on seventh day off where you don't do anything but you relax, you take the word of our Creator in, you rest with your family, you rest. It's just a day of rest, But we're too busy. That's the day of marketing. That's the day we go buy our stuff. That's the day we have everybody else buy our stuff. And Shabbat after Shabbat, seventh day after seventh day, there's a lot more sinners that are popping in things into the books in the Shamayim. Violations of this stuff. And people can't raise their hands and go, I didn't know about this. You don't know because you don't care. You don't know because it has not been something that even entertains you. The rest of the world entertains you more than your spiritual soul, and so you've never investigated into that. When we know from this book, the book of Khalidi, that our Creator gives us that nagging feeling of seeking our Creator. Whatever it is, however it works in each one of us, I don't know. But if you're seeking our Creator right now, if you're following His books of instructions, if you love His ways and love our neighbors as ourselves, truly, then that little voice got to you. And so here we are. So we have these guys. So we have a wedding and we don't have anyone there, right? We have nobody there. Everybody's in dungeons. Take these guys to the dungeons. Okay. The sovereign then said to his servants, though I prepared a sumptuous feast, those I invited were unworthy of the honor I paid them. Guys, this is the Creator of the universe. This parable is exactly what the Creator of the universe is thinking. He has taken every single one of us and designed us in a miraculous fashion and given us a life and a breathing apparatus and some functioning way that we can move around and articulate and talk and listen and think. We've had supercomputers in our head that still, even now, they're getting the quantum computers out, and they may have a shot. But if you had humanity is all thinking of the right things and thinking of the kingdom, then we're going to be having some major supercomputers of our own. We don't need these man-made trash that's all around us. Continuing on. The Messiah says about the Creator, go out again and invite any who will come. The servants went out in the streets, returning with many persons. However, while they were all seated at the table, the sovereign noticed one who behaved badly, using lewd language to those beside him. The sovereign called 2 servants and bid them to take the man and throw him into the dungeons with the others. But to make sure, he went to one where there was the most filth, so he would be in his own element. I have said before, though many are invited, few are chosen. Now I say, many choose not to come. All right, guys, this is a hard verse to really understand because they just went out and they were grabbing everybody off the street, and you're going to have a dude that was pulled off the street and he's looking over at the side and he's cracking some jokes. He's saying some rude stuff. He's saying lewd stuff. Now, this is the scary thing. And I will say Boss Clan completely fails at a few things. And living with 3 youngsters, brothers, who are always at each other's throat, there's some things that we say that I remind everybody, and including myself, that are we going to be saying this in the presence of our Messiah? The answer is always no. The answer is if we knew, without a shadow of a doubt, our Messiah was sitting right next to us, we're not going to look like the dude we're looking at like right now. Is any of us? Are we being lewd? If this particular dude just got booted out of the wedding feast because he was cracking some jokes and being lewd and rude, there's a couple things to take away. Number one, I don't know if in this particular situation there's a time and a place, but this was absolutely not the time or the place. He was at a wedding feast being given a wonderful food, probably really expensive food, probably the best of the stuff, right? And he's in there, and as a guest of this, he's violating just the simple respect. The simple that you were paying homage to the wedding guest, that you have been given a great food, and you're probably just sitting out on the streets, if you came to this, doing nothing worth your time anyway. And so now here you are, and you're not doing the right things. And it is so scary when I think about, is Boz Clan going to make this kingdom? And I think about this a lot, because we're hardcore people, guys. We are rough and rugged. We come from Babylon. We have a lot of burrs and things. We didn't grow up talking right. We didn't grow up learning exploratives that weren't vile and destructive. And it is something that it's a lifetime battle coming out of Babylon. It is a lifetime battle of trying to get our hearts, minds, and souls cling, so that we don't end up getting busted out of this wedding feast because we're too worldly. It's not in us. And so every single day we try to work harder and try to make the grind and try to bring ourselves a one step better. And that's all we're going to be able to do, right? We need to repent for these evil, wicked tongues and these ways that we do this stuff. And this is, this is very scary, right? This dude got booted out of where we are trying to get into. And it says behaved badly, using lewd language to those beside him. That's an easy one for Boz. If that's it, then Boz Clan is gone. Mr. Cole will probably make it, but the four boys are probably dusted. And so all of us need to be on our very, very, very best behavior and overcome these kinds of things. Let's continue on. 50. There is another way for separating the wheat from the chaff, illustrated by this parable. A man left for a distant country, but before departing, he called his servants to him and entrusted them with his store of gold. To one he gave 3 bars of gold, to another 2 bars, and to another 1 bar, each receiving gold in accordance with his capabilities. Okay, so let's take a look at all of our lives, right? We all have a certain X amount of money that somehow we have achieved, and I always say that all of my achievements are simply the hand of our Creator that has allowed things to happen. Especially putting a dude like me inside the depths of Google data center. It was definitely the hand of our Creator that did this. And it was something that has changed a lot of things and a lot of lives. Not all for the bad. And so it's one of these things. What did we do with that? What have we become? Did we feed the poor? Did we take care of the sick? Have we visited the orphans, widows? Have we taken care of the prisoners? All of these things we've been given. Some of us have been given more. Some people have a big fat checking account, and sometimes we will walk by those in need, unwilling to give a few scraps out of our pocket. Right? When was the last time anyone bought a bag of burgers and dropped them off at people sitting in tents or by the side of the road, or some dude that just looks trash in a park? These are all the things that we're looking at for the kingdom, right? We're looking at the depravity of the human state, and if there's a change that can be made that we can do, are we making these changes? Are we doing anything for the kingdom? Are we sitting with these people, talking to them about scriptures, talking to them about Torah, getting their names, right? When was the last time you sat with somebody who just looks really rough and got their name? And I know it scares a lot of people, but there's a lot of us out there that can simply go out and chit chat, and we can go, there's a lot of things we can do. 51. The servant who received 3 bars of gold went and exchanged these for silver, spending in pleasure and high living, thinking that with all this silver he could have a really good time. The servant who received 2 bars was a cautious man, and he buried his gold in a safe place, for he thought it best not to take chances with it. The servant who had received 1 bar went and bought goods, which he resold, and by this and other efforts he obtained another gold bar. For he thought to himself, as the master did not think me as capable as the others, I must prove I am. When the master returned, he called his servants for an accounting, and all who had received 3 bars of gold, and the one who had received 3 bars of gold, said, Good master, with so much wealth, I could not resist temptation, spend it, enjoying myself, never thinking about the day of accounting. The master said, you are an untrustworthy scoundrel. And he placed him in bondage until the whole of the value was repaid. The man who had received 2 bars of gold said, Master, I knew you were a hard man, was afraid to take any risk, so I safeguarded the gold. Here it is. The master said, you have been neither good nor bad, but took your ease while I was away. Go about your job, but expect no promotion. The man who received 1 bar of gold said, having only 1 bar, I increased it to 2, for I knew you would need gold on your return and have been a good master. To this one, the man said, well done. You have proved worthy of my trust. I will now place you in charge of my treasury. Beautiful. Let's hold on. 13. Let's see where we're at. We're done, guys. Okay, so this is it. I've rambled too much already onto this. It was definitely an interesting day as far as the ramble train goes. So hopefully you guys get a better picture of the world I've lived in and the technology. And when I say don't be scared of this kind of stuff, everybody's already been using it. And so if you think that this is something new and you just won't use ChatGPT because ChatGPT is like a search engine. It's literally a search engine. The same thing Google's doing. Every time you do a Google search now, look at the top. It runs through their AI. Anytime you do a search of any kind, every single one of these technologies is collecting every bit of the data. They're making their technology bigger, faster, and with the abundance of knowledge is where it's very, very scary, and it's where it's going. And so, guys, there's no better time than right now to seek the kingdom, because you don't have to worry about this stuff. You don't have to worry about the powers that be. You don't have to worry that, hey, what's going to come is going to come. What's going to be is what it's going to be. And we're not looking to be scared of this, guys. We are looking for the kingdom to come. We are looking for a world where all of us can join hands, get a big hug, and go, we love the laws of our Creator. We love our neighbors. We love our Messiah. We love righteousness. We're sick of this world of darkness and depravity. Look at the world, man. It is a mess. It is a mess. So when our Messiah comes, I'm going to be rejoicing. I am going to be very, very happy. And I probably won't be saying the things that I'm saying like this. And this is one thing we should all consider is what we are doing and what we are saying, are we okay when our Messiah is sitting there watching us? How are we going to act? Are we going to act the same way? And most of us will probably be no. A lot of you hopefully say, yeah, hopefully this is the good way. But there's always things we can sharpen. There's always a way we can get better, and we always need to try to perfect the walk. And the walk is an easy walk, but it's also easy to break a lot of Torah. And so we need to, first of all, we need to know the Torah. We need to read the first 5 books of scriptures at least 5 times slowly as a love letter from our Creator, and then move on. Move on to the rest of it. Once you guys have the basis, the understanding, the scriptures, the Torah, then everything you say, you'll get to the letters of Paul, and where he's like, oh, the law is gone. You go, well, we're foundationally based, because we're not going to go outside of, we're not using Deuteronomy 4:2. We're not going to take a man and make another religion out of it, because we have the Torah. We know that the law is good for all generations. We know it's good for all times. We know it brings blessings and not curses. And we know that it's good. It's a good path. It's easy to walk, So with that, guys, much love. Hope you guys have a good day. I'm out.